because our thinking comes before our consciousness. Our thinking doesn't come after consciousness like it seems to do. Our thinking comes before our consciousness because this is the principle of thought. And we project thought onto our consciousness and treat it as if it's some reality. A lot of religions are all pointing to the same thing. It doesn't matter so much what is happening out there when you've mastered your mindset, because what is happening out there is experienced internally by the way that you're looking at it. In the context of things like stress and anxiety, it looks like to us that we are victims of stress and anxiety. It looks like, I know for me, I'll speak about myself, I very much used to be concerned about what would happen to me because it would cause me some stress and some anxiety. And it wasn't until I realized that I am the creator of my experience that I'm no longer worried about what happened to me so much. I've always been curious about how we interpret things. And the main story I use to sort of share how we create our own stress is when I was 15, 16 years old and I'm working in my local pub and I'm doing some washing up to earn some cash. And it was cash because I was underage and I was outside the book, so it was cash in hand. It was about £2.50 an hour back in the day. And I remember there being two chefs that were cooking on a really busy Saturday night. And it's so busy, completely overloaded with orders. And one chef is getting completely overwhelmed and stressed. Another chef is having the time of their lives. They're in flow state. They're dancing, they're singing, they're having a great time. And I was fascinated by how both chefs, with the same amount of responsibility, with the same amount of work to do, one was having a nightmare, one was loving it. Like the contrast was so different. I was fascinated by this. And I started to realize that we create our experience independent of what's happening outside of us. And the more I studied this, the more I saw that we do this 100% of the time. Not 5% of the time, not 50% of the time, not 95% of the time, not 99% of the time. 100% of the time, we create our own experience. Because, and this is one thing I did learn from psychology, by the time we're conscious of what's going on outside of ourselves, i.e., there's 250 food orders to cook, that's just one example. I've been made redundant, I've been dumped, I don't earn enough money, I'm not good enough. By the time we're conscious of something that's going on outside of ourselves, we've already interpreted it. We've already had thinking about the thing before we're conscious of it, because our thinking comes before our consciousness. Our thinking doesn't come after consciousness like it seems to do. Our thinking comes before our consciousness. Which means by the time you're reacting to something, and most of the time we are reacting, we've already contaminated that thing with our thinking. We've already made sense of it and interpreted it and filtered that thing that we're conscious of. Because this is the principle of thought, and we project thought onto our consciousness and treat it as if it's some reality. So what's actually happening is we are creating our experience from our thinking, and then we're feeling our thinking. As my good friend and fellow coach, John Prince, says, you don't feel the truth, you feel your thinking 100% of the time. Now, this isn't some perspective. This is what I call a principle. Now, a principle isn't some take on things. It is literally, a principle is literally how we work, how things work. Like gravity. It doesn't matter if you believe in gravity or not. The force of gravity is going to have the same effect on you, whether you know about it or not. Whether you know gravity exists or not, or you believe it or not, gravity will have the same effect on you as it will with someone that does believe in it. The principle of thought and consciousness is going to have exactly the same effect on you as it will whether you believe it or not. So if you want to have a good life, like I'd assume most people would, it's really helpful to know how life works. It's really helpful to know how human beings work. Like if you're going to go and play a game, you're probably going to ask what the rules are. And we're all playing this game of life. And what amazes me is we don't know the rules. We don't actually know how we work as human beings. There's a few people that seem to know. And all spiritual teachers, a lot of religions are all pointing to the same thing, that we are the creator of our experience, that we are powerful beyond measure. And we don't seem to know that. And so my job, my mission is to help people see how powerful they are, how free they inherently are, that you can have what you want. You can have your heart's desire. You can follow where your soul is leading you. The only thing that's getting in the way of that is a story, a limiting story, a thought. Yeah, and some fear, but that just comes from you thinking. And some doubt, but that comes from you thinking too. So the only thing getting in the way of what you really want is a thought. And thoughts are really fickle. They can change in an instant. I see it happen multiple times a day. When you really see what fear is, what anxiety is, what stress is, it's no longer an obstacle for you having, or at least pursuing, what you say you want in life.